And here we are today, you know, and actually Colin's one of the people that I met at the cafe in December 2012, and he's someone that I've got to know a little bit, and his little bio is in your programme, so you'll know that he's a handyman. He's kind of, I think he's quite busy at the moment, but he could do a few jobs, you know, maybe into the order book in longer term, so if you need someone. But he's going to tell you about himself and his own journey, and then Mark's going to follow and then Trev. All right, got it.
Wow, that's so long. Karaoke evenings gone for a birthday, mate, my friend. Thanks, H. I still struggle with calling you Bubble, I'm afraid, because like, boss is easier for me. I was also going to stand up here and wander around a bit, because that's what I do when I do presentations, which I've done for a long time, but I'm stuck with a fixed mic unless I take it off and wander around. Yes, it's a bit too Madonna for me, I'm afraid. So yeah, I'm Colin Powell, and for my sins, Huseyin emailed me and said, do you want to do a 15-minute presentation, Colin, on your own journey in Smart Recovery UK Bucks Division? Well, I didn't know we had a Bucks Division, but I guess that, given that I'm the only person that's running the Smart Recovery meeting in Buckinghamshire, other than the unitary authority that is Milton Keynes, it does fall to me. I had a vision of standing up here as some sort of latter-day Steve Jobs and not having notes and being all confident and wonderful and launching some sort of fantastic recovery device. But no, I'm a plumber come handyman, and I've got my notes. So the bulk of what I'm going to say is actually my own opinions. I volunteer for Smart Recovery UK, but all decisions are made by Richard Phillips. Obviously Mark knows Richard and Huseyin knows Richard. So it's just my opinions at the end of the day. I favour Smart Recovery. It's my programme of choice, and I just want to put on record that I don't have any access to any other recovery method. There seems to be this I don't know, aura of expectation that the two aren't mutually compatible. And we do things our way in the 12-step recovery programme. I do things their way, but we're not mutually exclusive. The journey is the journey, and if people pick and choose from 12-step and that from Smart Recovery and that one from Bright Eye Counselling on the net, it's not a problem. It's about people owning their own recovery, and I'm very, very, very keen on that. It's the ownership of recovery, and all these people here that give support, they feed into that ownership of recovery. But it's the strategy. I didn't realise you'd ripped that off. I've been practising this for weeks now, and I've and it's the towards recovery strapline. You know, only you can do it, but you can't do it by yourself. And I didn't know you'd ripped it off, so I feel slightly cheated now. So anyway, about me, it's been a long time, and to be frank, an awful lot of alcohol since I stood up in front of a group. So if I get a little bit shaky, do forgive me. I class myself as a recovered drinker. I don't say I'm in recovery, it just suits me to say that I am recovered. That's a label I hang on myself. And Smart Recovery doesn't generally do labels. But it suits me to say I'm recovered. I don't drink. If anybody asks me, yes, I used to have a drink problem, I don't anymore, ergo I'm recovered. I certainly don't class myself as an expert. I don't know why on earth he's got me standing up here telling people about my journey, but if somebody can take a little bit of solace from it, then brilliant, absolutely brilliant. 3 years, 6 months and 9 days ago, I got in from work after yet another all-day drinking session, and despite what people may tell you, you can fit bathrooms pissed, you can paint and decorate pissed, you can also flood people's houses pissed. On the back of that, I tried to convince my wife that I hadn't been drinking. The fact that I couldn't stand up straight and could barely speak was neither here nor there. I was quite adamant that she wouldn't notice. But she did, unsurprisingly. Now that was the straw that came very, very close to breaking the camel's back. That was the straw that was going to lead me to the divorce clause. And given this is my third marriage, I didn't really want to go down there. I've been in the system as a whole, if we just look at the recovery industry as well as the system, for 2 years before then. And people were labelling me as self-destructive. God, Cole, you've got a self-destruct button. Why do you keep pressing your self-destruct button? Why are you doing this? And when you're in the middle of it, you don't notice it. I prefer to call myself broken. And that's a very emotive phrase, because that's me. It's dramatic. I'm broken. Look at what life has done to me. I'm broken. It's broken me. It's fun. That's why I'm drinking, because I'm broken. It's all this shit that's happened in my life. And I can see people nodding there, actually, so that's touching a nerve, isn't it? And I thought, well, no, it's time to start doing something about this, because this is really getting a little bit silly. And people that are in the process of going through the process, you'll know that's a really huge step to take that step. Going, you know, this isn't terribly productive for me. I need to do something about this. So the first protocol, as ever, is you go to your GP. You say, hello, doc, I'm drinking units of alcohol a week, because we're never honest, are we? Even when we go and see the recovery professionals, we're never honest. And the stop GP response, and I thought it was just me, but it's still happening now. It's, golly, have some antidepressants. Yeah, that's right, we raised that in the room. So I have issues with that as well. I tried the only viable recovery method that was available at that time, and it didn't work for me, or rather I couldn't work with it for various reasons. And then I stumbled across what was the Oasis Partnership, and there are people in here from the Oasis Partnership, service provider up in Aylesbury, used to be known as ACT, if anyone remembers them as ACT. And that was my first experience of people that actually took a genuine one-to-one interest in me and my problems. And I'm going to embarrass her now, because I didn't realise she was going to turn up. And I've got down there, I guess my real saviour was a lady called Abby. I had a series of one-to-one sessions with her. Excuse me. And she identified that I was using alcohol to cover up life's problems. And she'd show a flip chart, and she'd drew a little outline of a man, and it's like, oh, this problem's happened, and you've poured alcohol on top of that to cover that one, and then that problem's happened, and you poured alcohol on top of that to cover that one. But then another problem's happened, and you pour more alcohol, and in the end you fill up and fill up and fill up until you get to this stage where there's no more problems, and there's no more alcohol, can keep it all in. And that's where it really starts to break down, and that's the stage I was at. I couldn't physically drink anymore to take the problems away. From there, she introduced me to another recovered drinker, funny enough, and consciously or inadvertently, he actually introduced me to the world of CBT and REBT, rational emotive behavioural therapy, which is what smart recovery is founded on, Albert Ellis principles. And one of the things that came out of that was that over the years, starting from my teenage years, I was going to put mention into a Philip Larkin poem, but I thought better of that one, because this you know what I mean, right? The only way I could make myself feel better, because I had such a crushingly low self-esteem, to forget how rubbish I was, to blot life out, was to drink. That was my coping mechanism. And I did that very well, very successfully, thank you. And the problem with that, as we all know, is that when you do finally come down from it, you feel even more wretched, you feel even more low. So the cycle starts again, and it's just a horrible, nasty, vicious, increasing amounts of alcohol to get out of or to seek oblivion. So back to the plot anyway. So after a series of emotional sessions of basically being taken apart and put back together, and looking at myself and how I reacted to life in general, there was a milestone. And I'm looking at Ashley now, because Ashley runs an alcohol support group, and I made 3 days sober. 3 days. And people are going, so what, Carl? But when you're in the middle of that, yeah, when you're in the middle of it, 3 days it's a lifetime. It's an absolute lifetime to be without your crutch. And from there, we set goals, didn't we, Ash? And so I'll try and make another week sober then. I'm not promising anything. So that made 10 days, and then 17 days. And so the maths goes on. And that was the start of the journey. And then there used to be a guy come to the group, and his philosophy when we did the check-in was, I'm all right today. That was it. That was, how are you? How are you? You know, insert name here. I'm all right today. And that's how I started my journey, tiny little steps. It takes a long time to dig that hole to fall into with addiction, and it takes an equally long time to crawl out of it, believe me. But crawl out of it you can. So around 5 months dry, hey, we're rocking and rolling now, aren't we? Lee Hughes, and I'll say that's a shame that Lee's not here actually, asked me if I want to do on a Smart Recovery course. Now Smart was going through a bit of a rough time. It was facing bankruptcy, and it was going to fold as a charity, and this, that and the other. And all credit to Richard Phillips, our director, for putting it back together. I thought, yeah, why not? I've taken a lot out of the system, it's time to be giving something back. So I did this training course, and that was another revelation. Here we had the science of recovery. All of a sudden I had access to these tools that could enable me to look at how I was reacting to a situation and turn it around and look at it rationally. Why do I feel the burning need to drink to cope with this situation? What else can I do about it? How else can I cope with this? So that was fantastic. That was brilliant for me, because that fit me. And you'd guess if I'm a plumber come handyman, I'm a technical sort of guy, and I can see how it works. So I suppose that's time to come out with the official blurb, and it's a Smart Recovery is a science-based secular program to help people manage their recovery from any type of addictive behaviour. It's a bit technical, isn't it, really? But the key point there is addictive behaviour. We look at why people use and what's the thought process behind that. And it's the behaviour concept. So we don't really mind whether you're into alcohol or drugs or shoplifting or gambling or sex or any one of those addictive behaviours. We all think roughly the same when we start with this addictive behaviour. Some people would call it that addictive personality. I've got a thing for cakes at the moment. I suppose you could say that's a sugar addiction. Who knows? But we run a network of peer support meetings, and peer support to me is absolutely invaluable. Absolutely. So whether that's a 12-step program, whether it's Smart Recovery, whether it's one of the web-based forums that are non-program specific, like Bright Eye Counselling I used in the early days. I'm involved in Mumsnet at the moment. I'm not mum, but I am a parent, so it's... but just knowing that there are other people out there in the same position, it's a great motivator, and somewhere to vent. I used to like sit there and go, people go, you know what you mean, Carl, know what you mean. And there's people nodding here, and I'm getting a lot out of this now. So Smart being my programme of choice, so I facilitate a meeting in Aylesbury on a Wednesday night. I believe in it so much that I'm now part of the UK big volunteer team, as it were. I'm a face-to-face facilitator trainer, so I can go around the country and train other people how to run Smart Recovery meetings, as can Brandon down there and Andy who's over the back there. So we're expanding. We're still quite small, but we're gathering momentum. I'd like to see more meetings. At the moment we have 323, or as of October we have 323 meetings nationally, and 4 online meetings each week. So for people that can't actually get to a meeting, if they can get to an internet cafe or have a computer, they can join in an online meeting. So there's lots of support out there. And it's always worth remembering, and here comes the sales plug, if you're in recovery, you can do the training free of charge. And if you can get a room, you can start your own meetings. It's really not an issue. I'm lucky that the Oasis Partnership actually let me have a room for nothing. I see that Colin's not here today, otherwise I'd be thanking him personally as well. And they also feed people into me for ongoing support. So where Wendy, sorry Wendy, I forgot your name there for a second. Where Wendy talks about ongoing support from her organisation, we do much the same for service providers in Aylesbury. We run a partnership scheme where service providers can sign up to us. That's under discussion at the moment. And that gives you access to a library of materials, the training, and trains new recovery champions, ongoing support. And we're trying to roll that out in the prisons as well, with the Inside Out initiative, to prepare people for life on the outside. We're just launching a friends and family session. Andy probably knows more about that than I do. To support those people that are supporting other people with problems. And I know there's an awful lot of people in here There are other organisations in here that are doing the same sort of thing. And I think those individuals are much neglected. So it's good to see that there's more work being done there. So what for the future? As I say, I'd like to see more smart recovery meetings, just from a purely personal point of view. More importantly, I'd like to see GPs be more understanding when people present with problems. I've had a devil's own job just getting some trifold leaflets into my local GP surgery. I don't know why it's so difficult. I mean, we're recommended by NICE as a choice, and the whole thing of this conference is choice in recovery. So I don't know whether GPs have the issue. And I'd like to see more of these recovery cafes. I was quite taken with it when we came down in December. And I know Oasis has set something up, albeit a closed session at the moment. It's worth looking at maybe taking those on as a social enterprise. I'd love it to happen. I think it's brilliant. Just people getting together and talking recovery, basically, long and short. And out of our support, I'm going to mention to Gloria, wherever Gloria's gone, because she's organised something for the weekends as well. Something for the weekends. So it's all go. It's a very, very exciting time in recovery, and I'm proud to be part of it. So I am actually a minute over time. So thanks for your time. Thanks for the opportunity to stand up here and all you witness with my endless ramblings. And it has been a real privilege to speak to all of you. So thank you.
It wasn't boring, Colin. That's good. The reason he looks at me funny there is I also, for my sins, I work in the drugs field, and I'm on contract as a commissioner at the moment in Buckinghamshire. So he's trying to do the kind of thing with the eyes on me, like it's a Jedi mind trick. You will fund what we do. So I'm doing my